So I got a test drive here today for the Calliope. As you can see, it's not the first time I had a Calliope test drive, which, side note, by the way, Calliope is the correct pronunciation of this word in English. And background info, Calliope is the name of like a musical instrument, like a pipe organ basically, that was used in like the early 1900s, 1910s, 20s, teens. It's like a pipe organ instrument you would find in circuses and carnivals in America in like around that time period. So the American GIs from World War II in the 40s would have been very familiar with that, and hence they would have come up with the nickname of the Calliope, which looked like all the pipes and the rockets, as you can see right there. So that's where the name came from, and it's pronounced Calliope in English. So there you go. So I just punched off a bunch of random rockets here just as a barrage, as mostly a harassment, and also potentially if I hit something, great. If I hit short and it threw a bunch of dirt up, so what? Looks like I'm going to have to change up the bushes here too, so I discovered as I was doing this. I think I actually changed them up. I'm narrating this much later because my computer had froze up, and when I restarted it, some of my settings were messed up, including the frequency setting on my microphone. So I got all the narration for this video, but it was greatly slowed down, so I had to re-narrate the thing. So I don't completely remember everything that happened, although I am listening to the slowed down narration while I watch the video and narrate this, so I at least have some idea of what I said during the battle. So I wasn't really aiming these, I was just barraging them off, but I figured, you know, what the heck. And we just barely missed out on the capture at B here. But that's okay. Because we did run into some activity, although this Crusader was smoking us out of house and home here. But at least that let me move up under some cover and kind of get behind this house. So we're going to sit and reload rockets here and see just how long it takes. And in a moment, we will discover, to our joy and dismay simultaneously, that a small comrade has made his way into the B point. And unfortunately, if you want to see how long is left on your reload, you can't unless you time it yourself, because the reloading key command button doesn't work for the rockets, only for the main gun. A little bit of a barrage there. The rockets had a lot more drop than I remembered. It had been a really long time since I'd driven a Calliope, but here's the target right here, though. There he is. Got him. Sorry, Sturmling. Just in case Sturmling somehow watches my videos, which I really doubt. But just in case. Unluckily for the SU-57, he only shot me in the gun, and I think he must have fired right down the gun barrel, because he didn't do any other damage besides the gun breach. So, don't know. Reloaded some of my rockets, and then pushed on down towards Charlie to see what kind of trouble I could find there. So there were still a few enemies left. Our team had pushed up fairly close and was engaging AAA right up at their spawn, and my squad mate took out a T-34-57 right up close in front of me, and then there wasn't much else to do but steam down the hill and try to make our way in towards Charlie. And my squad mate gets knocked out by a T-34-57. I saw or heard nothing to indicate where the T-34-57 had come from. And my squad mate was not very forthcoming with any kind of data to that effect, so Backed off slowly, expecting to get hit at any moment, and just nothing. Nothing. So, headed in completely blind as my team started capturing the point, and what it turns out happened, of course, is that my squad mate Jade out, having been damaged. The kill was credited to a T-3457 that didn't exist in the battle anymore, so that's why he didn't specify what was going on. He was damaged, he Jade out, which cost him, and credited the kill to the guy on the other team, and gave me a heart attack about a T-3457 being there, which of course it wasn't. But anyway, that was the end of the battle, and we won, so first battle down. So for the second battle, I used the winter camo, which I figured why not. I think the winter camo is pretty neat for the Calliope. I don't know how effective it really would be, but I think it's pretty neat looking. It's kind of a unique, like, pattern anyway. I pushed up somewhat aggressively here to try and catch them at the corner of the church and get their approaches coming up, as you can see. So sat here and kind of just waited for a moment to see what kind of ambush we could get. And this Cromwell, for some reason, just slams into me, towing an M10. I don't know what they were trying to do. But obviously ambushes were kind of out after that, so moved up a little to see if I could catch them exiting their spawn area and then entering into the battlefield. And KV-1 drives in front of me, cannot quite get the launcher up in time to get a really good rocket barrage on him, but I got a good hit into his turret with the main 75mm gun. So that was a pretty good hit. This guy got a bit of a surprise. I mean, if you're going to drive the Calliope, you might as well use the rockets, right? Even though it is absolutely going to bring their attention down upon you. I mean, really. What are you driving the thing for if you're not going to use the rockets? So, got an enemy marked up there. You can see him just backing up behind the tree. I didn't see him during the battle. So, I see him there just backing up behind the tree, but then I didn't see him when I was actually driving here. Our friend the KV-1, lighten him up as much as I possibly can with the rockets, and there's our friend right up there behind the tree that I could see during the replay, but I didn't see in the actual battle. Unfortunately, knocking me out in one shot as I was about to charge up behind the KV-1 and just light him up. Now you'll notice I have 1 or 2 backups for the Calliope. That's how many test drives I've gotten for this thing across the career of test drives. So I figured, why not use one of the backups? I had 43 backups in case you didn't notice. And they were all from just getting Calliope test drives. So I figured, sure, why not? So I was hunting down the Pac Puma, and I just saw him go by right there. So I'm trying to move up on him. I take a little hit from somebody up on the hills up there. I managed to get out of his immediate danger zone and kept driving. And I can hear an enemy close by here. So I'm assuming it's the Pac Puma. Watching for him, and I can hear an engine idling off to my right. And of course now they're coming up behind our spawn on the edge there. It's not the Pac Puma, but... And there's the guy that I saw, so... undamaged with the main gun, but put a bunch of rockets into him and managed to take him out. And it's actually a Chinese M4A4. So all my kills so far have been with the rockets, and it's hard not to love it. And then for the final battle, what happened here was I had a couple of crap battles that I didn't use, of course. And then there was another battle I got into where I hit 2 battle and then my game crashed. And by the time I could get it reloaded again, I had just enough time to get one last battle in. So I lost a big chunk of time by the time I could actually get the game restarted. So because the game had crashed in a weird way and it didn't let me respawn and give me the option to get back into the same battle, I had like a 6 or 7 minute crew lock, which is not something you want to see when you have a 1-hour test drive. So by the time I was able to get the crew lock done, I had just like 2 or 3 minutes left. So this was the last battle I was able to get. But I was trying to spawn at the other side to go over there with all these rockets, but it spawned me on the western spawn instead of the eastern one. But that was okay, because there's a pretty good view vantage point right up here where I am. And I'm actually not the only Calliope on my team, which was pretty nuts. So we're just checking things out here, looking for anything moving. Ready to rain an unholy fire of T-34 rockets down on it. Or is it T-43? I forget what the Calliope is. I think it's T-34 is the name of the Calliope rocket launcher. But it might be 43. I believe it's T-34, though. I'm pretty sure. So I expected a lot of their team to be over in the eastern side because that's the most direct route to spawn camping. There we go. Enemy spotted. And he got team killed by artillery. The best target I could have had, an open, thinly armored vehicle, and he got team killed by Arty. I don't know. I don't know why. But there was something else up there, like a Panzer IV-G, which I'm sure is the guy who had team killed the Flak 88, the Flak bus. So that was really disappointing. So I'm gonna try my rockets from over here once I could get the things raised high enough to actually fire. I just couldn't dial them in. It's hard to do from the vantage point that I'm using. I mean, those are hitting pretty close, but I couldn't get hits on him. As far as I can tell, he's still alive. I'm pretty sure it's the Panzer IV-G there. And there is a German Churchill coming. And that's a target I'd like to test out the rockets against. Like I said, I'm quite a bit out of practice with them. Most of the times I've had test drives for the Calliope, I've not bothered to drive it. I just let the test drive expire. But I thought it might be a refreshing change of pace and change of battle rating and a lesser seen vehicle, particularly on my channel. So why not give it a shot? There's the target over there in that smoke. Let's let him have some rockets. Now, as you can see, they backed off a little. They smoked up and backed away, so I didn't really get any good hits, but it's enough to scare them. There's a Stug there that I saw. Thought for sure I was going to team kill that plane right there for sure, but somehow I didn't. And then a random shot into the smoke and I killed the Stug, who turns out he never did back up in the smoke, so that was hilarious. All those rockets I fired into where he was, and I didn't even get so much as a hit on him. And then I kill him with a random 75 mil shot. And then I get hit by a guy who's up on top of... Look at all the guys up at our spawn, moving into our eastern spawn there. So yeah, gave them a little artillery present and then pulled in to repair and reload the rockets. Get a new crew member. And hope that I could hold out long enough to do anything useful whatsoever. As the scariest sound in the world when you're repairing and getting a crew member comes in, a Stuka. But luckily he didn't see me. And then I get hit by the old Panzer IV-G. But that was it for my test drive.